good news, weather, sports, events, cooking, music, and more right here on your Madison County Weather Channel. Watch at MadisonKYLive.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Roku. Madison County Emergency Management wants to remind you, know your zone. Check them out, Madison County Emergency Management, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, KYmedia.net, and the Cain Pole at Southern Hills Plaza. Hey everybody, welcome to the Saturday night show here in Madison County, as we like to call it, Madison County Live, the big show.
That's right, Randy. It is Saturday, September 2nd. If you can believe it, fall is right around the corner, but it doesn't feel like it right now.
That's right. And, of course, you can check out MadisonKYLive.com for the Weather Channel forecast 24/7. We'll be talking more about that. But first, we're going to be talking to Tammy Cole, Tracks for Packs. She came in the studio and give us an update and how you can find out more information about that coming up. And we visited the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen opening reception of Summer Memories at their new location in Berea. You're not going to want to miss that segment. And I had Aaron Banther from Farristown in the studio, Colleen, to talk about some history of Farristown and Berea.
We are looking forward to seeing that. We're also looking forward to continuing that exercise plan. We've got exercise with Candace. We'll see what she has cooked up for us this week. And Randy, of course, we're going to wrap up the entire show with what?
The Cain Pole Fishing Report.
All that and more coming up next.
Coming up next. Stay tuned. Visit MadisonKYLive.com 24/7 and watch good news, local weather forecasts, daily sports updates, and upcoming events 24/7. Madison County Live. It's good news. Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, KYmedia.net, and the Cain Pole at Southern Hills Plaza. Welcome back, everybody, to Madison County Live. As we said, it's the big show. Good news and events going on in Madison County.
That's right, Randy. And speaking of good news, I know that this makes you happy. It's hard to believe that September is already here, but that weather is saying summertime, isn't it?
Jack that weather up, folks.
That's right. How can we check out that local weather forecast, Randy?
MadisonKYLive.com. You can check out that forecast and take a look at our live cameras and get more information about that as well. And, of course, we always do talk about weather every morning on Good Morning Madison County. And you know what? I love it because it's only going to get hotter.
It's only going to get hotter throughout the week. That's like we are looking at the upper 80s to mid 90s for the next few days. So, yes, it will certainly feel like summertime, even though that calendar does indeed say September.
Hang on, summer, hang on. Hey, speaking of summer, this is always a time, and the fall, of course, is when we start doing segments like Tracks for Packs 5K at Richmond Center, and I had Tammy Cole come in the studio, and she's going to tell us all about this year's Tracks for Packs. Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, kymedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza. Hey everyone, welcome back to the special segment with Tammy Cole and the Tracks for Packs. It's that time again, Tammy.
It is that time of the year. This will be our 11th annual.
Yes. Has it been 11
Hard
years?
to believe. 11 years for Tracks for Packs 5K.
Man, it goes by quick, doesn't it?
It flies by.
All right. So the date this year is Saturday, September
16th.
16th. All right.
Yes,
excellent.
and we're going to be at our same location.
Same location. Okay.
Out at Richmond Center. We kind of start everything around that fountain area.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
people check in there. And
Okay.
this year we're going to do a pre-registration on Friday night.
Nice. Okay.
At Eastside Community Church.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay. So you
So,
can just go by there and sign up.
Yes, we're really
nice,
hoping
okay.
to get a lot of our people to
Right,
come
right.
in on Friday night.
Okay.
They can literally pick up their packet, get their T-shirt,
Have it all set.
and literally just get
Okay.
there in time
I
to
was gonna say,
race
'cause
on
with
Saturday
the
morning.
with the purchase you get a T-shirt. What else do you get in your goodie bag?
Well, that's a good question. If you register
Okay.
prior to August 31st at
Okay.
midnight,
Okay.
you get a free T-shirt. And otherwise, you're welcome to still join us. We get a lot
Sure.
of people that show up even the day of. You can
Oh,
show
sure,
up
yeah.
seriously that morning.
Right.
We'll get you registered and ready to go.
Because it can happen right then.
It can happen right
okay.
then.
Now tell
We're
us
that
some of
good.
the. Yeah, exactly. It goes quick, and it starts at. You can be there at 7. Is that correct?
We actually open up registration at 7
At
a.m. that
7 a.m.,
morning
that's what I thought.
at
Okay.
Richmond Center,
Okay.
and the race kicks off promptly at 8 a.m.
And they do. They trigger it. They
Yes.
fire that pistol and boom,
We
off
do.
they go.
Bam.
All right. Okay. So the proceeds. What is all this for? Tell us about what Tracks for Packs is.
Thank you. Well, that's really the most important
Right.
part. We have a lot of fun with the 5K.
Sure.
But the reason that we do that, Eastside Community Church began 11 years ago.
Okay.
Doing this as a fundraiser for God's Outreach Food Pantry.
Right.
And specifically for the backpack
The
program.
backpack program, right?
So that the local schools work with kids that may be hungry over the
Exactly,
weekends,
right.
and counselors and teachers, just very confidential manner,
Sure.
identify those kids, and we send food home with them on the weekends.
For the weekends, right?
So it's easy stuff. It's
Nice.
like mac and cheese and nabs and just
Okay.
stuff that kids,
just so that
very
they
easy.
have something.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Excellent. And you can always make a donation to
Yes.
God's Outreach. We always want to suggest
Absolutely.
that.
Oh,
You can
gosh,
do that
yes.
all year, not
Yes.
just this for Tracks for
You
Packs.
can do that anytime.
Right.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So one more time. When is it?
Sure, it's going to be Saturday, September 16th.
Okay.
And registration starts at 7 a.m. that morning.
7 a.m.
If you don't come the night before.
If you don't come the night before,
Yes.
right?
And then the race will start promptly at 8 a.m.
Okay. And before August 31st.
Yes.
Midnight, August 31st,
Yes.
you can sign up
Yes.
and get all that great
And
stuff.
get a free T-shirt.
Excellent. All
Yes,
right.
fun,
Tammy,
fun.
For more information, you can check them out on Facebook.
Yes,
Right? And of course,
absolutely.
Eastside Community Church also has
Yes,
that links on there
that's
too.
right, correct.
Tracks for Packs. It's already that time.
It's time.
Man, that's hard to believe. September the 16th.
Yes.
Come on out.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
Tammy, thanks for coming.
Uh-huh.
All right. Thanks for watching, folks. Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, kymedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza. Thanks to Tammy for coming in the studio. For more information, like she said, get on the Facebook page. Go ahead and register and take advantage of that now. Or you can sign up the day of course, because everybody knows who's going to win it. It's going to be me and Adam again. We win it every year.
That's right. You know who will jump in that picture with the trophy. It is guaranteed. Always great to hear from Tammy, and we are looking forward to Tracks for Packs.
That's right. And support God's Outreach and Tracks for Packs because it always goes to a great cause.
It sure does.
Hey, I was invited to attend a special reception down at the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen at their new location at Old Town in Berea, and they have a very special exhibit going on now called Summer Memories. So here's some video down there from that event.
I did the night painting of the Madison County Fair, and I did the sunset over there. I did the one with the hay bales and the farm, and I also did the one with the butterflies over there.
Okay, do you want to describe your technique on the butterflies?
The butterflies are from a butterfly bush that's in my yard, and I took various pictures of the various butterflies that came to it over time, and then I made a collage of all of them together. And then, of course, I paint oil, so it's a number of layers, and you have to let it dry a few days before you put the other layer on, so it's time consuming.
I can't wait to see it closer.
And then Vatican went to school this summer and learned some jewelry. If you want to
talk about that. Yeah, well, I'm a middle school, high school art teacher at Richmond Youth School. And I applied to the Aaron School of Arts and Crafts for Appalachian Arts for Appalachian Teachers program, and I was accepted. So I chose metals because that's my favorite thing. I do that. That's jewelry making. So while I was down there, I was able to work in their beautiful studio with all of the tools and just everything right at my fingertips. I met teachers and other folks from all along the Appalachian region, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Tennessee. And so that's just a small sampling of some of the jewelry that I made while I was down at the Aaron School of Arts and Crafts. That's my summer memory. It was wonderful and just a great experience. So, yeah.
And then we have Derek Downing, who does the baskets.
I'm Derek. This is my piece. I was inspired by the sunsets, like a hot summer day at sunset. You see where the sky's almost on fire, and you see the multiple colors of the warm tones. So I've got pinks and oranges in here to represent that. So that's how this relates to the summer heat. But the actual construction of the basket, it's based on an egg basket shape. It's definitely my version of it though. The handle is made out of grapevines. I leave a lot of the tendrils attached on there. And then all of the reed, it's natural colors when I get it, so it's all completely hand dyed. And this has about 6 or 7 different colors in it.
Very nice.
Thank you.
And then we have Ellen. Okay. All right. Well, so I'm Renee Ray, and I'm a photographer. And this is my piece, and it is White Fire. It's part of a series of 4, and it's shot handheld. And on May 13th of 2014. And I was basically just going for the cloud cover because I would have had the ISO at a different setting if I was actually going for definition on the moon. But I had a backlight, and so honestly I was probably at 6400, but the clouds and the shapes were just so interesting, and it seemed like a creature that was moving or like something that was happening. And it was my first show that I ever showed with this series, and it was my first sale that I ever sold with this series. And so that was in Oldham County at the Oldham's Arts Association. There was a show at the YMCA, but that was years ago, but it's important to me, and it's definitely a summer memory. So that's my piece. And then we have Pat Williams.
Hi. Pat Williams. I'm a watercolor artist, and this is my piece. It's called Siesta Key. That's the name of a beach near Sarasota, Florida. And I painted that this summer, but it's actually more of a late winter, early spring memory for me. My in-laws owned a condo in Sarasota, and when we were raising our boys, we would take them down for their winter break to visit them, and that is my favorite beach in the world. And it brings back so many memories of watching my boys play and grow up, not grow up, but the older that they got, the more fun they were, and it's just really warm family memories for me. So, thank you.
And then we have Ellen Long, who does wearables. Hold on a second.
Hi, I'm Ellen, and this is a memory of this summer, which is my family. My family lives in all different places, and there was one section of the summer where the whole family was together in a swimming pool, my daughter's pool. And so I'm a fiber artist and a clothing designer, so what I tried to do is use pieces to look like water and make my family the flowers because they were, and it was so fascinating. I looked at the pictures from the summer, and it was like a poem, like the whole, like it had just stood still, but it was a video we took. But that was the summer memory. This is a shibori technique of indigo, natural indigo batik that I did on silk, acrylic crepe silk and a abatai silk, and this is a muslin, and that's it. Yeah.
Very
And then
nice.
we have Teresa Webb, and this is the first time she's shown, and we're so glad.
Oh.
It's only our second show.
Well, I'm a newbie for sure. I work with fabric, and I normally make stuffed animals, dolls, using an embroidery machine and a sewing machine and combining those techniques. But I use this opportunity to teach myself something new, which is armatures. And what better way to learn armatures than to work with an octopus? So I made 2 octopus. That's really hard. Octopuses, however you want to say it. This one is named Shelly because she represents the fun time at the beach, the octopus's garden, collecting seashells, and of course she bends, and underneath you will see her star. So she's just a fun animal to play with. And then I have Sizzle, and Sizzle is more of a teaching animal. He has goggles, and he has a snorkel because he is sizzling, because 90% of our global warming is in the ocean, and we wanted to remember that they're not happy about that. All the creatures in the oceans or the coral reefs are dying out. Things are just not very good right now. So he has a fan made out of a seashell. We're pretending, of course, that he is fanning with, and patches to represent the sun that is very hot on the water and the earth that is melting. So he also has the star underneath, which is a quilting technique, and all of his armatures are very bendable and posable, and they're just a lot of fun.
Excellent. Fantastic.
And then we have a couple artists that weren't here tonight, but Bob Barker has a beautiful painting right there. And I think you say her name, Bridget Trucks, I guess. And she has a painting here too. So they couldn't make it to the show, but they're also showing tonight. So I think Bridget is from, Somerset, or she might have a show going in Somerset right now. I think she does. And then Bob is, of course, on our board. So, but he couldn't be here this evening. But thank you guys so much.
Give everybody a hand clap. Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, kymedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza. For more information about the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen and the Summer Memories exhibit, check out their Facebook page, because they'll also be having a big event coming up this fall, and we'll talk more about that as well.
That's right. It's such a beautiful, first of all, they have a wonderful venue and such
it's great.
gorgeous artwork. So, yes, looking forward to seeing their fall exhibit as well.
And let me tell you this, their snacks are always pretty good too. I should just judge everything on snacks. Was the event successful based on snacks?
You know
and
what,
availability
Randy?
of great snacks.
Okay, well, maybe you could help provide the snacks. You know, snacks aren't cheap these days, so
I'm a
perhaps you can
tester,
start
Colleen.
your-
I'm a tester.
Okay, you're a tester.
And let me tell you, Pat Williams, one of the artists down there, she makes some great snacks. And I said, what is this? They were rosemary cookies. Oh my gosh. And they had little rosemary, little biscuits. Oh my God. I stopped at 4.
I love them.
They ranked very high on Randy's Snack-O-Meter.
Of all the snacks that you talk about, that one I can stand behind. Maybe you can get that special recipe, because I would love to have another good rosemary cookie.
They looked at me kind of funny when I tried to put them in my pockets.
Yeah,
But I was going to bring you some, honest.
Oh, I've been there when that happens. Thanks for not doing that this time. Randy, what else do we have tonight?
Hey, you've heard about Farristown. They have a new sign up, And
Yes.
Farristown is in Berea. Lots of history with the African American community down there in Berea, and of course Berea College. Connection to Farristown as well. So I had Aaron Banther in from Farristown, and he gives us a little history and a little update and some of the plans that they have for Farristown and Berea. Watch this. Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, kymedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza. Hey everybody, welcome to this special segment. I have Aaron Banther here from Farristown in Berea. And hey Aaron, thanks for the show.
Man, glad to be here.
All right. So
Thank you.
I reached out, and then we talked on Facebook a lot. You're really taking the Farristown thing and running with it. So it's all about more people finding out the community concerning Farristown. Give us a little background. What got you interested?
Well, I grew up in the community in Farristown.
Okay.
I'm originally from Berea, and I lived there with my grandmother.
Okay.
As long as I can remember. My family actually owned the land there since the early 1900s.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
I mean, I grew up
So
there.
you're really connected.
I'm really connected.
Right, okay.
But there's a lot of things that I
Sure.
don't know.
Right,
A
right.
lot of the history that happened there, the community, the original identity happened way before my time.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So I grew up there, and I went to Berea Community High School.
Okay.
Graduated in '96. I know I just told my age there.
That's okay.
But I left for the Navy in 1997. I always had an interest in history.
Sure, right.
You know, no matter if it's Black history,
Right.
whatever culture.
No matter what, right.
No matter what, I love history.
Okay.
And I was in the Navy, and I was on deployment. And we was on deployment in the Gulf. And there was a book that I have here. It was
Yes.
Black America Series, Berea, Madison County, written by Jackie Burnside.
Okay.
So I'm reading this book, and it has a lot of the Black heritage, the history of Berea and Madison County.
Right.
And I actually saw pictures of my family in there, my grandmother's in there, my
cool.
great-grandmother's in there.
Very nice.
So that actually planted the seed. And I was on deployment on the ship. I was on the aircraft carrier reading this book, and it actually planted the seed to like, man, we need to have more of this on display.
Yes, I think so.
So I retired, and I was still living in Jacksonville at the time, and I didn't know if we was going to move back here or not. So we
Sure.
moved back 2 years ago when I actually got started in the preservation work,
Right.
and just working with a lot of people, have a lot of support. So man, it's been really great. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I know some stuff just to be dangerous about Farristown, but then I noticed some things on Facebook popping up about Farristown, which led me to you, and I sent you a message. I said,
Right.
hey, tell us about this Farristown thing. Give us a little history on Farristown.
Farristown, it started in the mid-1800s.
Okay.
Some people think it's been founded in 1835, 1820. But basically, Farristown is named after the Ferris families.
Right, right.
As far as back as anybody can remember, it was a man named Charlie Ferris and his brother Stephen
Okay.
that first occupied the area. And then there was another man named Henry Ferris who
Okay.
had the same last name, no blood relation.
All right,
And
okay.
they helped a lot of African Americans after slavery own land,
Right,
had
right.
land ownership and things.
Okay.
From that, it was just a striving community over the years. And not only that, it was also an interracial community. We know the history of Berea with John Fee.
Which is really cool.
Right, with John Fee and all that stuff. So that's pretty much a product of that. So a lot of African American farmers and white farmers work together.
Work together,
and
right.
sustain
Okay.
the community, and even through the Great Depression.
Wow.
So it was mainly a black community
Sure.
in its tribe. We had our own general store, which is called the Baxter Store,
Okay.
back in the days.
Okay.
And then you had the Great Migration, where a lot
Sure.
of people from the Deep South trying to get away from Jim Crow
Sure,
and all that
absolutely.
stuff over time just left the community. So yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
pretty
really
in a
neat.
nutshell.
So what kind of square miles that we're talking about, what consisted of actual Farristown?
Well, the square miles, like if you are if you know where Farristown Middle School is at,
Yes, yes.
that's when you actually kind of go into in the community. If you drive there on Mellis Road, you'll see Farristown Baptist Church there on the left.
Yes, right.
And then we have the old wooden bridge, and all that is through Farristown. And also you have Chapel Road there on the right.
I've noticed that, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's actually where my family
Okay.
has their land
Okay.
as well. And then it ends right there kind of in White Station, which White
Okay.
Station's kind of connected to us too a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, that is pretty much the area of Farristown.
Okay, all right. So Farristown, because I noticed when Farristown was being built, the middle school, I kind of like, what is Farristown?
Right.
Where'd they get that name? So that's what started piquing my interest
Right.
when they started building the school. Like, what is Farristown? I know you have a new sign. Tell us about that and how that came about.
Oh man, that's great. The sign is something that I was talking to Mayor Bruce Fraley about,
Right.
and I've had the city support on this as well. So I'm like, man, it would be a great to really show that identity. So we started the design back in January,
Okay.
and I actually reached out to a man named Jason Meeks, who is a local stonemason here in Berea.
Right. Okay.
And he actually
Right.
instructs at the Job Corps in Fredericksburg.
Okay. Cool.
So he said, well, it'd be really cool if when we get my students to actually do this. So I had some Job Corps students to actually help build the sign, but I had a guy from Danville, Kentucky design it.
Oh, okay. Neat.
So yeah, and then we got it done in about a week, and those kids really,
Well, they hustled.
they did.
Yeah.
And and God bless them. A lot of those kids got challenging backgrounds and things
absolutely.
like that.
Right.
But I told them about the background of Farristown and the community, and they just really got motivated.
See, I think that's great.
I thought it was great. I thought it was like a win-win
Yes,
for them
yes.
and us. So yeah, it's been great.
That's fantastic. So, Farristown plans. What's your ultimate goal? I know we talked a little bit before the studio shoot here. So, what's your ultimate goal about Farristown?
Man, just to display more of the history of
Okay.
Farristown, and not just Farristown, but just the black heritage of
Sure,
Berea.
right.
And I know there's a lot of things going on here in Madison County as well. But just to get more of that stuff on display. I mean, if you never read this book by Jackie Burnside, if you never been through Farristown or known what it was, and you would never know. So we want to try to get that on display. There are plans of having a community center.
That's great, yes.
Down in Farristown, and there's a place that we can kind of have all that black heritage,
Right,
like a
right.
cultural center. That is contingent up on the grant.
Sure.
But if the grant doesn't happen, if that's not in God's will, then we'll keep going. Maybe
Sure.
do a heritage trail. There's a lot of walking trails
That's great too. Yes.
in Berea, but just
Right.
to have some of that on display, and I think it'll be great, for the city of Berea as well as tourism.
Right.
And, if we do this thing right. So,
Now, is there an official organization tied to Farristown?
actually, it's not. It's just
Okay,
me.
okay, it's just you.
this is
You
me
are the
hustling and busting.
organization.
But I am.
As it grows, though, I see this developing into something huge.
It's really growing,
Okay.
and I am actually working on my community scholars program. I'm about to finish my requirements
Oh,
today,
nice.
just
Okay.
to get funding for the community.
Excellent.
Because we do other work too. Like
Sure.
we just restored have an old cemetery.
Oh, okay. I was
there
going to
as
ask
well.
about that. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so a group of descendants last March got together and we cleaned up the old Farristown cemetery.
That's great.
Right, and you can see like old stones of old slaves that were buried there. We have World War I, World War II veterans.
Oh, that's great.
That is
Okay.
buried there. We have color troops
Sure,
from the
sure.
Civil War
From the
that's
Civil War
buried
there, too.
So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so
Okay.
it's been great. So man, we do a lot, but I have a lot of organizations that have stepped up
Mm-hmm.
and has provided me mentorship to get funding
Sure.
and get support. So it's been a blessing. So,
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
So, is there an official? I know you had a Facebook group for Farristown. Is there a place for the general public to go to look? Is there an outlayer map of maybe where things were, or is that still in development?
That's really in development.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it isn't. But you can actually Google Farristown, and you
Okay.
can get some information on
Okay.
the community.
Great.
You will see Farristown Middle School, but you can see the outline of the map, and also talks about the founding of Farristown,
Okay.
and who founded it, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all we have right now. But hopefully, as it develops,
Okay.
maybe we can get a wiki page, and
That would
and
be
all
that would be
other
really
stuff.
neat.
So,
That'd be
yeah.
really neat. And
Yeah.
history is so great, especially for young people.
Yes,
They
absolutely.
can take it and run with it because it's so important to know about the past.
And that's why I'm doing it too.
Right.
I'm passionate about it because I
Right.
love history, and I think it just connects us to our roots. I do not do it just for me or just to get
Sure.
the glory.
Oh, sure.
But just knowing that my kids can look
Yes.
at that place and know where our roots came from.
Right,
I
right.
think that's very, very important.
Right,
for
and it's
us.
very important that it's really nice that it's in Madison County. Another jewel, I think, in Madison County
Oh,
for
yeah.
people to pay attention to Madison County.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Aaron, I just thought of another thing too.
Yeah.
Maybe you and I can go out at a later date, and maybe you can give us a little tour on site
I would love that.
of some great locations in Farristown.
Man, I would love that.
How about that? Wouldn't that be nice?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to have to set it up. Aaron, thanks for coming in. For more
Thank you.
information I guess just contact you on Facebook, correct?
Man, absolutely,
Okay.
man. I mean, you can find me, Aaron Banther, on
Okay.
Facebook.
All right.
You'll see my face there. And just,
Okay.
anybody's got any questions or there can be any assistance,
Right.
please, reach out
Or
to
any
me.
information.
Oh, yeah.
That you met. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Because
That's
there's a
great.
lot of things that I don't know that
Sure.
people
Oh,
in Madison
absolutely.
County do know about
Yeah.
this community. So the
Okay.
more I have, the better. So
That's great.
Yes,
Aaron,
sir.
thanks for coming in.
Thank you, man. I
All right.
appreciate it.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching. For more about Farristown, just Google it.
Thank you.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, KYmedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza. Thanks to Aaron for coming in the studio, and I told him that I think it's really cool, and I think I told him in the interview, I would love to mic him up and maybe take an on-site tour of some of the great places and the cemetery and other things inside Farristown.
I think that would be very informational. Informational. No, Randy, that's not.
That would be informational.
educational. Well, it would, but I don't love that word in this scenario. It would be very educational
That too?
and informative. How about that? Let's go there.
How about I don't know, info-eginal? I don't know if you
Yeah,
can put those two
I
words
think-
together.
I think I've done enough.
But another jewel in Madison County will be Farristown. I'll make that prediction right now.
There we go. Thank you, Randy. Thanks for helping me out there.
Oh, hey, Exercise with Candace is coming up next. I wonder what she has.
We're training all week.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, KYmedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza.
Hey y'all, it's time to exercise with Candace, and this is the last exercise of August, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remind you of what the warm-up looks like, because next month in September we're going to do a series of workouts of the day. And here's what I do when it's a workout of the day. I start with 10 reps of everything, and we go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of 3 different exercises. So what we'll do is we'll do 10 of one, 9 of one, 8 of one, all the way down to 1 of each exercise, all right? So in order for us to be really successful at that, we truly need to warm up. So I'm just going to remind you of what the warm-up is this week, and then starting next week, we're going to do some hard, challenging workouts of the day, but we'll be able to push through them because you all are amazing. So here we go. Let's start off with some arm circles. And backwards. Good. Jumping jacks. Good. All right, let's go elbow to knee, cross our body. All right, hands on your hips, side to side. Hands up, touch those toes. All right, we're going to go down to the floor, fast feet. Good. And then you'll also do sit-ups and Supermans as well. All right. Go be great. Push through things that are hard. Be excellent to each other. Can't wait to see you all next week. Have a great one, y'all.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, KYmedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza. Thanks to Candace for coming in the studio. For more information about Exercise with Candace, you can check out that playlist on our website, MadisonKYLive.com. That playlist is available on YouTube. So make sure you check with your physician if you do any kind of strenuous exercises.
That's right. Always great to hear from Candace, and I know that she is having a great year so far.
Yes, she is.
With kiddos. All right. Very good. Randy, thanks for being here with us tonight.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Folks, thanks so much for joining us this Saturday evening and throughout the week. Always nice to be able to share good news, stories, and events happening right here in Madison County.
That's right. And if your business or organization wants to help sponsor good news and events in Madison County, reach out to us on Facebook, send us a message, or my email, randy@kymedia.net. Or if you just see me around town.
That's right. You'll find him. He's easy to catch. All right, folks. That means
I'll be with the snacks.
you'll be with the snacks and perhaps a fishing pole. There's just one thing next.
That's right. What is it, Colleen?
the Cain Pole Fishing Report. Folks, we hope you enjoy it and have a fantastic Labor Day weekend.
That's right. Hey, folks, please be kind. Treat others how you want to be treated. Check on your neighbor because they just might need something. Have a great weekend, folks. Thanks to our great sponsors, Madison County Emergency Management, the Madison County Library in Richmond and Berea, KYmedia.net, and the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza. The weekly Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Fishing Report, brought to you by the Cain Pole in Southern Hills Plaza.
This is Tom with your fishing report from the Northeast. Slightly cooling waters and the lake rise this week have turned on muskie at Cave Run. I've heard several reports from anglers on the main body of the lake with multiple fish days. This is probably going to last just a short amount of time with the weather conditions set to warm again next week, so get out while you can. Additionally, on Cave Run Lake, topwater bass bite seems to be the way to go, and we are still seeing some white bass jumps out on the lake near the dam. Grayson Lake bass are heating up in the Bruin area of the lake. Fall action in this area can be hot. You'll, of course, be weeding through a lot of small fish to get to a few keepers, but it can still be a lot of fun. The ramp at Lake Wilgreen in Madison County continues to be closed with reconstruction on the boat ramp and parking area. I'm sure this is frustrating, but it will be worth the wait once it reopens. Other than that, don't forget your nearby stream or farm pond. These can be great experiences and perfect for the summertime and as a way to introduce new folks to fishing. That should do it for us in the Northeast. Wherever you go, good luck and stay safe.
Alert FM is your new device for in-home emergency alerts, provided by Madison County Emergency Management Agency and the Chemical Stockpile Emergency Preparedness Program, or CSEP. This device will alert you to chemical emergencies at the Bluegrass Army Depot, as well as severe weather impacting Madison County, Kentucky. These devices should stay with the home or business they were shipped to, because they will only work in the zone they are programmed for. Wondering about your old Advisor Alert radio? We will properly recycle these old units. Simply drop yours off to a recycling container at one of these locations. Madison County Emergency Operations Center, Madison County Road Department North, Madison County Road Department South, or Berea Utilities. If you need further assistance or have questions about Alert FM, please contact Madison County EMA CSEP. Madison County EMA CSEP, your partner in preparedness.
Things that folks need: food, shelter, clothing, medical care, transportation, and more. That's where the GoDirectory.info website comes in. Community agencies and churches are providing services that folks need across Madison and Estill counties, including Richmond, Berea, and Irvin, while bringing everyone together for the common good. Visit GoDirectory.info now and see how you or your agency and organization can make our community stronger by combining all of our individual strengths into one solid, purpose-driven mission.
Good news, weather, sports, events, cooking, music, and more right here on your Madison County Weather Channel. Watch at MadisonKYLive.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Roku. Visit MadisonKYLive.com 24/7 and watch good news, local weather forecasts, daily sports updates, and upcoming events 24/7. Madison County Live. It's good news.